This is ambitious. More than ambitious. Commander, how will...
The blueprints are theoretical, but so far we've managed to prove out the steps experimentally.
I'm not saying it's impossible. The chemistry and physics are all grounded, but... Look, Commander, this... Energy shielding, strength augmentation, accelerated muscle response, biological regulation, neurological integration, all on top of a self-healing, vacuum-safe, thruster-equipped, dynamically reconfigurable nanomachine platform. That's...
Awesome, sexy, badass.
Excessive. You're trying to do too much at once. If the mission requires all these features, we should compartmentalize each to a separate platform. A completely different unit that is dedicated to that specific functionality. Having multiple static templates will remove complexity on an exponential scale.
No, Posh's team already proved out the entire system from a mechanical perspective.
Then why do you need me?
Well, I haven't told you the most important requirement.
Really?
We need a combat platform that can withstand a naked warp.
What? You expect to be in a warp without a ship? Do you realize what you're asking for? The sub-physical systems needed to initiate a warp would wreak havoc on biology. It's a completely different kind of mass and energy than what we exist in. Even if your body survived, the disruption to the electro-weak systems in your brain could collapse or worse. We don't even know what would happen to a person.
That's why we need the armor. That's why we need you. We need you to help map the sub-physical interface between the armor and biology.
You don't understand what you're asking for. There's too many variables involved in this. Even if the sub-physical power supply were sufficient and stable in compact form,
which it is,
every moving part would need constant monitoring, not only from a functional perspective,
which we already proved,
but you would literally need to adjust biomarkers at a particle level to enable a conscious brain to survive exposure to warped space-time. You would need some intelligent system on board to Ajax. Hence the neurological integration. So he's...
cohabitating. Answer all your questions?
No, because I don't understand why you need this. Commander, again, I'm not even talking about impossibility. I'm appealing to realism.
Well, besides building the most lethal and survivable tool ever wielded by man, this is the spec that was laid out for us.
What kind of a mission is this?
An important one.
Commander, whoever gave you these specifications must be very uneducated in material science, economics, and basic sub-physical properties. By my conservative estimate, the cost of this armor would be comparable to a small interstellar fleet.
We aren't just making one.
How many?
Dozens. At least.
Commander, it simply isn't feasible. Please understand, Commander, each nanomachine, millions of them, would need to be modeled and printed with extreme custom precision, directly mapping to the user's specific genetic makeup. Each one would have to be tested and configured for a litany of biological and environmental factors to be truly dynamic and self-healing. The simulation cycles alone are daunting. You can't just go out and test if a machine is warp safe, especially not when it's an overwhelmingly complex piece of machinery. And you can't use Ajax for all of them. You would need to create custom sub-physical AI for each soldier and their armor individually. I'm not sure you're understanding how many zeros are going to be on this bill.
Budget's not an issue.
Commander, I've seen the JDAR Skunkworks budgets from even the most critical, large-scaled covert operations, and they are at least an order of magnitude lower than one armor instance. The Alethian initiative cannot be that grave of a threat. They've been nothing more than a guerrilla problem for over 5 years.
B. Budget is not an issue.
The entire JDAR economy would... How would this ever be approved?
It already is.
By the defense branch?
All of them. Every branch. The entire Synod.
This mission... This is under the Synod?
Black budget. I told you. This is important.
How... Why am I here? Why me?
Because everything needs to change, B. JDAR needs to change. We need to take the next step. We can't keep going the way we've been. It's too late for that. No more status quo.
What are you referencing?
Warp nodes. The entire network. It won't cut it anymore. We can no longer survive with the limitations. We need to be able to go where we want, when we want, without spending decades on the infrastructure to make it possible. We need to go farther. We need to go faster.
In order for that to be possible, you'd need
a new system. New technology. New rules.
new physics.
That's why you. We've stagnated for too long. Any innovation coming out of Jadar, it's just bandages on bandages. Working within the system, we don't need any more Boy Scouts. We need Cowboys. You draw outside the lines. You aren't afraid to go back to the drawing board. You aren't afraid to make something new.
What specifically are we making here?
We have the mind. And with this, we have the body. But lastly, most importantly, we need a ride. We need a ship. We need the next generation of interstellar traversal.